Studio 41 Football Recap Live is brought to you by Studio 41 Home Design Showroom. 13 locations, studio41.com. Vertical, in business since 1985. Chicago's chimney experts for chimney cleanings, masonry work, gas logs. Verticalchimney.com. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Hooters. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World-famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters girl. Hooters, always original. Dr. Pepper, an American original, just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois, so I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Apt. For the best appliances for football season, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Find them at apt.com. Four Seasons. Heating, plumbing, air conditioning, and electric. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons. The Illinois Tollway. If you're a true Chicago fan who loves speed and efficiency, join the team that always wins. Sign up for iPass today. Driving to the Bears game? You get a 50% discount on your tolls with iPass. Hey, welcome into Studio 41 Football Recap Live. I'm David Kaplan, Tom Waddle, Olin Kreutz. Bears find a way yet again. Fifth victory coming from behind in the final 2 minutes to improve to 7-3. And it's our Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric game day breakdown of that victory. Olin, I texted you. I want to start with offensive line play because the film showed, especially on the final play before the kick, Jonah Jackson, you posted it, is where I first caught my eye. He just absolutely pancaked the guy, and that gave a little crease for DeAndre Swift to get 7 yards, enough to make it a very makeable kick for Cairo. He delivered. There's a Theo Bennett at one arm after, as the play's ending, slamming a guy to the ground. The O-line seems a little nastier in the last 5 weeks. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, let's start with that text that we had on Thursday before the game that I told you they had no chance of winning. I remember that text too.
Yeah, I did. I
so gave them zero chance to win that football game. Let's start there. Just talking about how big of a win this was for the Chicago Bears in the NFC North on the road versus the Vikings team. I know they're without Grenard, but the Bears are without players also. And I thought watching the film that they couldn't beat them. And they went out there and they found a way, like you're saying, Cap. They found a way to win. Now, as far as the offensive line goes, I would argue the best unit on their football team right now. I would say that Darnell Wright might be the best football player on their football team right now when you go over his film. When you talk about that double team, you talk about that ISO that Ben Johnson called there late in the game on that down when some people might have threw the ball. With Caleb Williams. First of all, they motion a tight end over, gain leverage on the defense, and the Vikings don't rock down, add another defender. And they had the perfect angles, Cap, on that play. When you have a double team by Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright, and Jonah Jackson, what you want to do is change the guy's spine angle, take his strength away. I'll go faster, not bore everybody. And Darnell Wright hit him on the hip. And when the D lineman tries to recover, and I think I got to watch the film again, but I think that was Redmond, who might be playing some of the best football for the Vikings. And Jonah Jackson accelerates his feet and runs him about 7 or 8 yards down the field, man. But the play, the design, Tom, getting them the angles, getting them the leverage, deuce, B block, whatever they called it on that play, really, really good. And then Swift was running really hard at the end of the game. And like you're saying, Cap, 9 yards there on third down, almost get the first down. Really well executed play. And that offensive line right now, really playing good football against the teams that they are going against and leading this team to victory.
By the way, it was Jalen Redmond, number 61, that just got destroyed.
Very good football player. Very good football player.
He's been a nice find for the Vikings, too. I don't think they knew how good he was going to be. I got to tell you, I mean, to kind of build on the offensive line praise and the running game praise, I go back to the Giants game, and guys, I got to tell you, more than a little surprised at the game plan. I thought they were going to come out, especially with the Giants struggling to stop the run, the inclement weather, and the fact that the offensive line has been playing so well and their running game has got so much rhythm. I was very surprised they came out and tried to throw the football. Obviously, they ended up on the right end of the scoreboard. And I thought at the end of the game, they imposed their will. I was expecting them to run the ball even a little bit more against that Vikings front. But look, at the end of the day, I think that's probably, guys, my biggest pleasant surprise is just how well the offensive line has played. Now, they spent a shit ton of money trying to, secure the interior of that offensive line, but they're moving people. Olin tell you this more than I'll tell you. Best way to take the stinger off of a team that gets after the quarterback is run the ball right at them. And they're moving people. And I don't think there's a lot of folks in the NFL that want to line up and just try to play man on man, in the trenches with this team right now. So it's fun to watch.
In terms of watching Caleb Williams, we'll get to his numbers in a little bit, but watching Caleb, do you think there are times he is not settled in the pocket and the offensive line's actually giving him time? And I'm like, why are you ejecting the pocket so quickly? Or do you think it's justified, Olin?
I think the last two games, we're just talking about the last two games where people have said he started to struggle, and the offense has really struggled putting points on the board. If you think about the Giants game, they don't get over 17 to really late in that game. This game, they get 19 late on a big kickoff return, right? So one thing I thought about, I don't know if you guys talked about this last week, but when I turned on, one of the reasons I thought they weren't going to beat Minnesota is when I turned on the Giants film, something interesting I saw was that the Giants defense was very comfortable with the concepts and the plays the Bears are trying to run, which tells me people are trying to catch up to what the Bears adjusted to in the bye week. Like if you watch the Vikings early in the game with the run game, they're in a 6-1, they're bringing that corner crow. I think Ben Johnson talked about it also, the cornerback blitz. But that's because they do closet formations and this line can't see it because it brings the cornerback closet. I mean, they put the receivers right by the tackles. And that the line can't see if the cornerback is coming or not there. Like the fumble they had, right? And Romo Dunze, a good hustle recovering that fumble, but they don't see Rodgers coming off the edge. A lot of the tackles for loss were by cornerbacks against the Vikings. The Giants, kind of the same thing. They had a good game plan. They looked like the DBs kind of not knew, but we're expecting what routes that the receivers were going to run, really tight coverage. So I really I know Caleb hasn't been playing great. His feet are a little happy in the pocket and his eyes are dropping and he's spinning out and making guys miss. And the O-line is not getting beat constantly. Theo Bennett does struggle there over the edge, but Ben Johnson is doing a really nice job giving him a lot of help. So I think that is working in combination with what Caleb is doing. But Tom, I think one of the problems is, like we saw on a touchdown drive, those slam releases that Cole Kmet and Loveland ran, those really nice, I think it was 7 and 9 yard plays. Caleb won't take the easy stuff. There's nothing easy. Everything is really hard. Spin out, fling the ball down the field in the corner of the end zone and say, wow, the receiver's got to catch the ball. Well, yeah, sure, but holy moly, that's a tough catch, right? So I think, Cap, all that's working together.
Tommy?
Yeah, I see, a guy that's still got some ways to go for sure. We know he's a playmaker. We know he has the clutch gene. I think the area where he needs to work on some things is just playing again inside the confines of that offense, playing within the structure and processing things as quick as humanly possible. It's gotten better. I will say there were several not enough, but there were several dump offs to the tight ends. The one thing too, I think that Caleb's done a really nice job of lately, finding ways to get rid of the football without it getting tipped at the line of scrimmage. When you're 6'1", and Olin, you played with Breeze, he's probably the best I've ever seen at finding ways to deliver the football despite the height disadvantage he has. You really have to work hard inside that pocket to find places where you could set your feet, throw the football. There was a play to Smythe that I think, one that he caught, not the one that he dropped, where Caleb, I think, dropped down and delivered it really well. I think the screen to Burden was another example. I think he's learning. It's not perfect, but I think he's learning how to kind of clean up some of his self-imposed mistakes. And one of them is the number of tip passes at the line of scrimmage has gone way down.
Ola, what was the story you were telling me one day? I think I was at your house and you said that you were playing with Drew Brees.
Olin said, "Get the fuck off my property," is what he said to you, Cap.
Really?
That's
We're
possible.
going there this early?
That is possible. That is possible.
Yeah, my bad.
Wow.
Never have to apologize for that.
I at least called first. I didn't do a drive-by.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
After being warned.
Yes, that's correct. Cruises don't do drive-bys. So you were telling a story that Drew Brees, I think you were pointing out whoever the mic was, whatever was going on. Drew's like, I got this, Olin. Tell that story, because it was like that dude must have been brilliant when he was behind center.
Oh no, Drew was excellent behind center, right? And what it was coming from Chicago and the 20 quarterbacks I played with, I made a lot of the calls, right? I made a lot of calls and organizing the protections and the run game and trying to help the quarterback out. And you get used to that rhythm. Well, Drew they call it dummy cadence. And I think at that time we were using yellow. So yellow 80 hut. And he wanted the defense to line up. But as soon as he saw what the defense he wanted the ball. He didn't want them to change it. So he'd give you the live color, a red 80 ready set, and it was fast. But when he would give us the play, I would try to make my point, and the snap would come slow. And he was like, "Oh man, like we don't need a point from you here. Like I got it all handled, right?" And they literally called protections paint. So there wasn't really a protection. Drew would just paint whoever he wanted you to block. So it'd be yellow 80 hot, yellow, and then and then you would just have to snap it and get ready to go, man, because he was going. And he was, I remember we opened the season that year playing the Green Bay Packers, and he kept getting Sproles one-on-one with A.J. Hawk. And no one could guard Darren Sproles. Poor A.J. Hawk was in cover 2-man on Darren Sproles. And every time Drew Brees saw that, he wanted that ball in a hurry.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's funny, too. Like we saw, just kind of it sparked my thought. They tried desperately to get Aaron Jones set up on Sewell as much as they could.
Mm-hmm. You mean like the one in the first game when he got TJ Edwards and he got him on a wheel route for a touchdown? Yeah,
I mean, like that's how you want to use Aaron Jones, and KOC is really good with that stuff. I just don't think at this particular time in JJ McCarthy's career with 5 starts, his accuracy is really out of whack right now. But that was one of the I expected it, and not surprised that I saw it. They continuously tried to get Aaron Jones matched up on their running backs. They just couldn't make us pay for it. For sure.
I don't want
he ran that stutter goal on Sewell in the first game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, we're talking about getting that snap quick. That's what the Bears did on the second, third down. I think Tom Brady did a nice job explaining to us cheetah cadence, right? Where the cheetah just on the quick, right? He wanted the ball fast. Bears snapped the ball in a bunch formation. They lost DJ Moore. And like you're talking about, Tom, the young quarterbacks are just missing a little bit early, right? Missed Rome Odunze on the first, third down, missed DJ Moore on a quick snap, right? Like Tom knows that bunch formation, the secondary really has to communicate on how they're going to lock that down. And nice play call by Ben Johnson, and DJ Moore pops free. And I think Ben brought that up and said, that's one Caleb would like to have back.
Yeah, he had him wide ass open. He said, I didn't have a problem with the Rome one. He missed him by a foot. The other one, yeah, absolutely right.
And that's the comment coming from a proud game planner and play caller. And I don't say that in a negative way. Like when you run these 9 routes and it was a stutter and go with Rome, and you do have to catch that. I think that one's not really you're scheming a guy open. That's just one-on-one and you're trying to make a big play down the field. But like Olin says, when you put those guys in bunch and you get the coverage that you want, you get the mismatch and things go sideways for the defense as you're hoping. Those are the schemed up types of plays that I think a guy like Ben, it chaps his ass when it doesn't become a huge play. Like you're going to miss some of these stutter and goes. You're going to miss some of these straight 9 routes. And quite frankly, I don't think Ben runs a ton of straight 9s. I think he feels so confident that I'm going to scheme things up against what you're going to show me, that I'm going to beat you with play calling versus trying to beat you with straight up, man-on-man route, decisions.
All right.
So someone mentioned 50-50 balls that, to Tom's point, it almost pissed him off. He was like, I don't do 50-50
Yeah,
balls,
I heard
man.
him
Like,
say
we
that.
were concepts and schemes. And if he was like, if you were in a bar with him, whoever asked the question, he'd be like, hey, dummy. We don't do that here. Okay. Like, we're actually running route concepts, guessing what coverage they're going to be in, what blitz they're going to bring. We're not just throwing the ball up.
Right. He's not throwing. Can my guy out jump? I don't do that stuff.
I don't do that. Yeah.
Our Dr. Pepper play of the game and our Special Olympics Illinois special teams play of the game. They're one and the same in the group. Devin Duvernay's 56-yard kickoff return to set up the Santos game-winning field goal. By the way, Dr. Pepper, an American original, just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice-cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper at a McDonald's near you. And when voices tell us you can't or you won't, we simply say, I did. Special Olympics Illinois. So I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. All right, let's talk about the play of the game first. The Duvernay 56-yard kickoff return. They showed Kevin O'Connell on the sideline. He was absolutely out of his mind angry that they allowed that to happen. How does a play like that happen? Is it just blocked that well? Is it just a screw up by the Vikings? Because, oh man, all of a sudden you're like, oh God, we're in business.
I think it was a kind of a design, misdirection return, and I think they liked what they had called. I think a lot of times, guys, it's guys getting out of their lanes and guys not making tackles, and we haven't seen a ton of those things. It's just, I would say, in a broader perspective, Cap, it's just, and Olin, it's just fun watching this team. Like the special teams struggles mightily at times. You miss the 40-plus yard field goal. You give up the punt return. You give up another, pretty explosive kickoff return. You struggle on so many fronts. But when it gets down to nut cutting time at the end of the game, like, they find ways to make plays. And they take turns, whether it's the quarterback one week, it's the secondary, making an interception, or it's Duvernay, who I think he only had one kickoff return all game. It was one for 56 yards. Right. It's just, this team is, I mean, they've been blessed by the football gods. I make no excuses for it. I make no apologies for it. But they take turns finding ways to win games, and it's just fun as hell to watch them do what they're doing at this particular time. Like I said this, Olin, we said yesterday, it's like, how would you describe yourself right now? At 7-3, is this Bears team, are they a good team? Like, add context. They've beaten a bunch of teams. Nobody's got a winning record. They've beaten a bunch of bad defenses. I don't give a shit. You're like, the name of the game is to come away with a W. Will it get harder down the stretch? Yeah, maybe so. I'm just so happy to watch this team find ways to win games where we've been conditioned over the course of the last several years to expect them to find ways to lose games. So, yeah, I think they find themselves in a sweet spot. I think guys, probably they're a bit ahead of schedule with regard to their record. I didn't have them at 7-3. Thought they would be a 9-win team and probably miss the playoffs by a smidge. But I think they are so right on track with the big picture stuff, whether it's better coaching across the board. It's learning how to win games. It's developing certain things. Like, I think truly this Bears team is, and I'm not, trying to piss on anyone's parade. I think they're a 2026, 2027 story, because I think this is sustainable and it's going to get better. But I'm not going to deny myself, and Bears fans shouldn't deny themselves the joy from watching this team win games, even in the manner in which they're doing.
And somebody was talking about how good a job Ben Johnson does managing his timeouts. It always seemed to me like in the first quarter, Jay Cutler would always go timeout. And I'm like, oh, what are we doing wasting timeouts here? And I always look up in the fourth quarter and go, wow, this freaking guy's still got all three timeouts in his bag here. How would you look at that and talk about Ben's ability to manage his clock?
Yeah, the operation is just better. You can tell when you watch the football game, right? The way Ben is handling stuff. When we talk about quarterbacks processing information, the head coach, who is the play caller, has to process a lot of information on the sideline and stay in front of everything and predict what's about to come up and when you're going to need those timeouts. And To Tom's point, the team they just played was 9-1, right, last year in one-score games. The Vikings were ended up 14-3. And look, the craziest stat I found this week was in their 5 one-score games, the Bears are plus 12. Now, that is a crazy stat.
Yeah.
To be in one-score games and be plus 12, right? Like, that's just the kind of year we keep talking about they're having. Having the kind of year where Flores calls a perfect cornerback blitz into a handoff. Caleb doesn't see it. The ball bounces 15 yards behind him, and Roma Dunze recovers it. And then they throw the ball for 24 yards on the next down, right? And they get the first down on that play. So they are, but the only reason why I tell that story is, sure, they are lucky to jump on that fumble, right? The ball did pop out. It was the perfect play call by Flores. You expect to get a takeaway when you call, I'm sure he said, man, get to the handoff, he told Rodgers. That's how Flores coaches, right? Get to the handoff, pause the fumble. But someone has to make the play to get 24 yards on the next down. And Caleb zips it into Roma Dunze, and they get the first down, man. So they are making plays, right? Duvernay, I think Pat Manley, my partner on the 3-number network, he posted, right? He posted the fact that, remember the return that Blackwell fell down? That one was the same return. So they were kind of setting up that counter, to Tom's point. And then they ran again with Duvernay. He kept his feet and almost scored. He almost housed it on that play. So credit to the special teams, man. Credit to them for working hard, because like we're talking about, punt return puts the Vikings back in the game. Missed field goal keeps the Vikings in the game. The fact that the offense couldn't score off of takeaways keeps the Vikings in the game. They don't come out, get the 2-for-1, don't get the touchdown. Talked about after the game having that killer instinct. But Cap, and I'm sure Tom has, I played on teams like this where you feel like you're just always going to find a way. And no matter what happens in a game, you smile at each other and say, don't worry about it. Someone's going to make a play. Like I'm sure when J.J. McCarthy threw that touchdown pass because Nashawn Wright didn't widen enough on his zone coverage, I'm sure the Bears sideline was like, so what? All we need is a field goal. We're going to win this football game. There was no panic. They've done it so many times this year, and they did it again. And like Tom just mentioned, it's the defense. It's the offense one week. Now it's the special teams. But my only argument to people who say, well, how good are the Bears? I just say you got to go back and watch the game, and you got to give them credit. Like, Poston Loveland is making guys miss and scoring their touchdown. Like, someone is making a play to win the game.
All right, let's talk about our apt player of the game. I got outvoted. I wanted to just give it to the offensive line, but
here we go.
Me. So Olin may not like it, but Guff chose Cairo Santos, 4 for 5 in field goals, including the game-winning 48-yarder. Brought to you by Apt, pleasing people since 1936. Try Bosch products at Apt. We've got the dishwasher at home. Apt, ABT.com. Promo
Guff,
code
you're going to get a beat down if you don't be careful.
That's not me, Tommy. That's some BS excuse.
That is not.
Listen,
BS.
man.
He called me Sunday
after the dance.
ended.
After the dance, he deserved it. He deserved
And I
the
said,
game
Olin's
off
not going to like this. He goes, screw Olin. I want Cairo Santos.
Careful.
Hey, there's a whole ticket line, a number line for the screw Olin crowd. I promise you that much, man.
So,
but credit Cairo for coming back and making that kick. I mean, I don't think I was extremely comfortable with the way Ben handled that, where they just missed the field goal, and the Vikings field goal block. I think they had blocked 2 going into that game, so they're not an easy block, right? And anything can happen on a field goal. I think it was 38
it was going
yards.
left when it left his foot.
Yeah, man,
I
he
did
just
too.
missed, right? And I was a little surprised, and I think that's why Caleb was not happy even at the end of the game. I think he wanted the ball in his hands to make plays, right? And listen, I'm not knocking Caleb for that. I want my quarterback to want the ball in his hands. I want him to be mad after I run the ball that many times in a row. I don't mind him being mad. I'm actually in my room as a coach laughing about it, right? Look how mad Caleb is. We'll get on the ball next week or something. But I wasn't. But Cairo did come back. He did make the kick, and it would be the David Kaplan show that would give the game ball to the guy who played 3 plays the whole game.
That was not mine. That was
guys
Guff.
who ride the bench like each other. You know what I mean? They got to support each other, Cap.
Wow.
Line of the year.
What can I say? I can't say much more.
Yeah, weren't you a punter at Hamlin?
No.
Oh, the mighty Hamlin University.
Hamlin Pipers, baby.
What position did you play?
Laying that pipe.
Huh?
What position did you play?
Wide receiver.
Get the fuck out.
Oh, get out of here, Cat.
That's a
Come on, man. Come on, Cat.
They
What
timed
were you guys running, the
my
triple
40
option?
my
Were
40
you a wide
time,
receiver on a triple option offense?
pretty much. Yeah. Oh, and the first time they ever put me in the game, true story. Tressel was our coach. We had like 17 guys go down. He's like, all right, 145 counter. That's what we're running. 145 counter. I go out there. I line up on the wrong side of the field. I'm supposed to be right here. I'm all the way over there, and they're screaming at me. It's too late. We're going to snap it. Everybody goes that way. I'm supposed to be over there. So I decide, well, I'm just going to go hit this fucking guy right in front of me, this all-conference cornerback. He destroys me, gets me up here. He goes down, and I fall on top of him. And my late roommate, John, miss you, man, he gets the counter. He goes the other way. He's gone 70 yards for a touchdown. And this idiot, the ball flies out of his hands. There's no one around him. And he dives on it at like the 15-yard line, like a 50-yard gain. And I'm like, we should have had a touchdown. Yeah, that's a true story. Kaplan rode the bench, but at least he got a sponsor for the bench. Thank you, Vince. That is a very good one.
Brought to
Very
you
good
by,
one.
by some sort of hemorrhoid cream, right?
That's exactly right. No, quite. Dude wipes.
Yeah.
Dude wipes. There you go. We better call them tomorrow. So your guys' thoughts on if you were running the Bears, would you have kept Jake Moody? Would you keep Cairo? And at the end of the year, do you think you have to get someone in the new modern NFL that has 58 to 62-yard range? Because that's what we're seeing. What would you do?
I think it's an interesting question. I think if you're Ryan Poles and Coach Ben Johnson, the decision makers up there, you have to also with how much you have going for you. We talk about, all the one score wins and the belief and the culture. And Cairo, I think he's a team captain, and you just got to be careful with the things you mess with. Even though Moody may be the better kicker from 50 and out, but I think right now you see him dancing. You see Caleb bringing him to interviews. Like those things are very important also for this football team. With the way they're winning football games, and their locker room seems to be really a close-knit, tight group. And you saw a bunch of guys come out and say, Cairo's my guy, and sticking with Cairo, and we never doubted him. And it's just, I don't know, Tom, at some point you're like, okay, how much do I mess with this culture here that everyone seems really tight? We got this thing moving in the right direction.
Olin, this may sound silly, but to your point, like, again, I think this is a 2026, 2027 story. I don't think they win the Super Bowl this year. I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer here. I love what they've done. And I will try not to put an artificial ceiling on it, but I think you're right. I think like you play the long game here, and you continue to nurture the culture that's in that room. Listen, I've watched Jake Moody hit the ball in the back of his offensive line's ass on more than one occasion when he was with the 49ers.
Right.
I think he was like 16 of 29 or 15 of 29 from 40 and beyond. So while, when he put a Bears uniform on and they asked him to go out there, he did deliver. It's not as if you've just replaced or you're trying to replace Cairo with, Harrison Butker or, one of the more accurate kickers in the history of the game. So I think in the long run, maybe for the reasons Olin's mentioning, maybe, Cairo's the right guy right now. I mean, there's no question at some point, especially with the way they've changed the rules with the kicking balls, you got to find someone that can hit it from 60 pretty consistently, because most guys in the league can do it. But right now, I mean, go ahead. You want to mess with that mojo? Feel free. I'm not so sure I'd be the guy that would do that.
Yeah, from the from the 40 to 50 plus, he was 19 of 31 in his career. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, and listen, Cairo isn't going to give you the big leg like some of the other guys do. Go back and look at his, 50 plus success rate. You know, I think he's had
8
a
of
long,
9 last year. 8 of
I
9.
think as long as 54, so he doesn't have the leg strength that some of the others do. But in recent years, he's been accurate, and and for the most part, he's delivered when they've asked him to.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. More to get to with the guys. We got to get their grades on Caleb Williams. A whole lot more. It's all coming up. Be right back.
Our family had been talking about redoing the kitchen for a long time. Studio 41 had all the pieces I wanted.
With Studio 41, we found their prices competitive. They helped us stay on budget.
They spent a lot of time with me in the studio, and I got to touch and feel things.
Our big fear was if you go online, who's standing behind the product? Studio 41 had the best selection, and they took her ideas and brought it to life.
It was everything I dreamed it could be.
Visit studio41.com to find a showroom near you.
Okay, we're just here for dishwashers.
Just a dishwasher.
At Vertical Chimney Care, our goal is to keep you warm and safe. Since 1985, we've been doing just that, providing our Chicagoland neighbors value, reliability, and peace of mind. From chimney cleanings and flue liners to fireplace rebuilds and restorations, the chimney technicians and expert masons deliver top quality inspections, maintenance, and repairs using the latest fire safety technology with quality you can trust. At Vertical, we aim to treat every home like it's our own home. Vertical, trusted by homeowners, built on care.
All right, here's our Hooters winging it. Caleb Williams' performance, 16 of 32, 193 yards, 4 runs, 26 yards. By the way, originalhooters.com for one of the 11 Chicagoland locations near you will be in Aurora on December the 9th. Caleb did enough. He wasn't outstanding. Ben said he played a solid football game is what he told the Chicago media yesterday. So both you guys, give him a letter grade. Tell me what you think just in this game, not for the season.
I'd probably give him a, C plus, B minus. The one thing I've said, Olin, is like when Caleb has his quote unquote bad games these days, they're not catastrophic. There aren't the boom goes the dynamite moments. There aren't, a group of reckless plays that gets them beat. Are there a couple of reads you'd want to have back? Sure. Would there be a couple of throws you want back, especially early in the game? Yes. I don't think Olin would have a better feel for this than me. I don't think he's nearly as reckless with it, bailing from the pocket, ejecting the pocket just randomly at times. I think he does it more out of necessity than he does just because he wants to be out there and play Superman ball. I think he's becoming more comfortable in the pocket. I think he's becoming more confident in what he's seeing. And I think if you can find a way to marry that big play ability and that clutch gene with someone who is going to hopefully continue to improve in the, playing on time in the structure part of being a quarterback, as I said earlier, I think it's something that really can scare the heck out of a lot of defenses. So, and also look, that's a tough defense to play against. Just when you think what you're seeing, all of a sudden, abracadabra, it looks like something different. So I don't think it was his best game, but again, no turnovers, guys. And to me, that's huge.
Interesting to hear Ben Johnson say that, because I think at the beginning, I think I'm talking about Ben Johnson mentioning first that he played okay and that he didn't turn the ball over. I think it was Ben Johnson. I don't know the exact quote, but he talked about how he doesn't really think about interceptions. He's about EPA, right? About the stats and the expected points per play. But as far as Caleb goes, like a C cap, right? This last game, I think the last 2 games, and to Tom's point, the last time he made that critical mistake was versus the Ravens, right? He threw that interception, backed up, and the Ravens took the ball to the 9-yard line, and I put the game out of reach for the Chicago Bears. And he hasn't turned the ball over. We're talking about some of that is, they did have that that handoff where he doesn't see the cornerback blitz, and that is a fumble there, right? And that's something that you got the quarterback's got to see that guy how tight he is. Somehow your peripheral vision has to see that guy come off the edge there and eat the ball if you have to. But they get lucky and jump on that. Roma Dunze jumps on that ball there. So the great thing about it right now, guys, is we're gonna see, right? We're gonna see the great thing about the NFL is you don't get a break the whole year, right? They're gonna see some teams now. They'll see the number 2 defense in the league for the Browns. They'll see the number 5 from the Lions. They'll see the number 6 from the Packers twice, right? They'll see Robert Saleh's unit. They'll see Vic Fangio's unit. We're gonna see what the Chicago Bears are. We are gonna see this home stretch here, Tom and Cap. We don't have to guess. We can enjoy the wins. We can say they're finding ways to win games. But the great thing about this home stretch, starting this week with the Steelers, who's a little tougher team than the Bears have been playing, especially if Rodgers plays, that we are going to see some of this, okay, is this luck? Are they good enough to be good teams? The great thing about the NFL is eventually you do have to play good teams, and the Bears' tough stretch is about to come right now. We write twice against Green Bay. Jeff Hafley's unit really good. We're going to see if these tackles can block, can protect, can he sit in the pocket, can he deal? We'll start this week with Herbig and Watt. And the great thing is we're going to see all of that now. It's both, right? Sometimes they're getting beat, and sometimes he is just spinning out and not taking and rushing through his progressions. And you hear Declan Doyle talking about that sometimes he's going through his progressions too fast. His feet aren't tied to his eyes. All these things they talk about, Cap. But the last 2 games, not a lot of points, right? Not a lot of things, but he did make the big play against the Giants, so you give him a little higher grade there. This week it was the kick return and running the ball. So I give him about a C for his performance, but they did win.
So Guff is telling me the Bears and Packers are tied for the toughest remaining schedule in the National Football League, which goes to what Olin was just saying. Tommy, as a former receiver, Caleb's completion percentage right now, 59.9, right at 60%. Not good enough. Year ago, they had 20 dropped passes in 2024 in the entirety of the season. This year, they've already got 17 drops, 9 by wide receivers, 6 by running backs, 2 by the tight ends. If you factored those in, and these are only counting ones that should have been caught, not a fingertip ball, his percentage jumps up to 65%. How do you read into what you're seeing from the drops?
Well, I mean, as they say too, Cap, if the queen had balls, she'd be the king. I mean, so there's a certain amount of,
and nowadays that would be okay.
Yeah,
that would be okay nowadays.
I'll let you take it from there, Olin. But I mean, there's some validity to it. So, I mean, guys got to help him out. That's for sure. The other thing I would say that gets overlooked is some of the completions they're made, but Ben's offense is predicated on getting the ball into guys' hands on the move so that they can get that yak. And I think as much as we've struggled with Caleb missing some throws, even some of his completions haven't been what you need them to be. And that probably sounds a little bit, nitpicky, but the truth is this offense is built on that. This offense, they're not going to throw a lot of 9 routes. They lead the league, or they're top 3 in a lot of splash plays. And a lot of it's because they get the ball in the hands of their playmaking receivers and tight ends and let them do the majority of the work. So the accuracy is not just about passes that are incomplete, Cap. I think it's also about making sure that when you do complete these passes, you put them in a position so that some of these elite athletes can actually make more once they catch the ball. So, look, 59.8% is just not good enough. You've got to be 65 to 67% minimum in this league because of it. I've said that the 2 stats coming into this league, I said, on this show from week 1, the 2 stats that are most important to me with regard to the progress of Caleb Williams are sack totals and completion percentage. He's cleaned up
Sorry about that, Tom.
No. I'm saying he was, he's cleaned up some of the sack totals, Olin, but the completion percentage isn't where it needs to be.
I think Tom Brady did a really nice job on the broadcast, just listening to his point of view quarterbacks and talking us through what the young quarterbacks are going through. And obviously, he doesn't watch anything with the offensive line because he saw when Theo Benedict went down, they didn't even know he was down for like 5 minutes. I was like, are they going to mention that the left tackle for the Bears are hurt? And then Theo Benedict came right back in. I'm always baffled by these young guys, Tom, that go out but are able to come. Like they sit on the ground for 2 minutes. I guess the tent has magical powers. This new tent they use,
I know.
this thing
I
must
always
have
wondered
magical
that.
healing powers, man, because that thing must have oxygen and red light therapy and everything in it. Because they come out, they can't even walk off the field. They come out of the tent sprinting. Anyway.
Well, Olin, you know, back in the day, they just would hand you a Toradol pill right there in front of the cameras, or they give you a Toradol shot. Like, I mean, now they have to do that inside the tent.
My mom told me one time, you better not ever lie on that field again. And I never laid on the field again in my life. But Tom Brady talked about, he said, you know, not everything has to be a fastball.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to put some touch on these passes. And listen, man, Caleb's arm is elite. It is amazing. And that ball is coming out of there hot, man. And the receivers, listen, they got to catch it. But it's not easy to do, right? So I talk about centers. Like, yeah, the guys, like snapping's not hard. Snapping and blocking a 320-pound nose guard is what's hard, right? Like that's same thing. Like they got to catch the ball. But Tom talked a lot during that game about, but he's talking mostly I think about JJ McCarthy, but how everything's a fastball to JJ McCarthy, right? Like he missed Addison early on and didn't put enough. I don't forget what Tom was calling, but enough height on that ball, and he didn't even put enough height on the ball you were talking about to Aaron Jones or Noah Sewell. And I think some of these Caleb passes that are being dropped, he's driving them in there, man. I mean, and the Chicago Bears receivers, I'm sure they want to catch it. But, you know, the thing you want to see a little more of is I think Cole Kmet had 5 catches for 45 yards, and a lot of them were slam flats and him on the flat and running the ball and getting 7 yards. 8 yards, just stuff that's looked easy, right? Looked really easy. There was one play, I think you guys remember, he made 24 miss off a cornerback blitz when he spun out. It was an amazing spin out. But if you rewatch some of that play, man, I mean, there's some guys open. Just you don't have to do all that. Just hit your back foot and give the ball to the guy right there in the flat and let them make a play. To Tom's point, they got a lot of guys, and Caleb can get better at that, and that's some of the worry I have when I watch the Bears film on offense is everything is either amazing or not good.
Yeah, you just capped. You just said somebody that I saw on the screen talked about when the weather gets cold, and you know I saw a lot of it in their game. What was it against the Giants? Where when they had the ball with the wind, like I'll blame it on the receivers. Receivers have got to catch these passes. Caleb is Olin is saying, has already got a strong arm. When you add a 20 mile an hour wind behind it, and that wind can gust, that ball's going to move 10 yards from you. Like as you're a receiver, you've got to be really firm with your hands, and you've got to make sure that your eyes are on it because it's a harder catch when the wind is with you. But that's also the responsibility of the quarterback that you have to know like conditions and you got to be able to mix up the speed of your throws. You really do. Like, and that's the thing. Olin that is the key point with JJ McCarthy right now. That cat throws only fastballs. It's like Daniel Palencia. Some of them hit the backstop. Like just take a little something off of it. Sometimes put a little velvet on that thing. Make it a little bit easier to catch. Not everything's got to be 105 mile an hour fastball. And I think some quarterbacks naturally have it. The kid in New England has that. That's one of the things that Drake May has. Like he has the
touch.
Yes, the touch is there. And I think it's one of the things that fails Caleb at times, you know, even with the deep ball. There were several of them last year, as Olin just described. Not only were they off target, they're like 10 yards over the receiver's head and going 1,000 miles an hour. So it's definitely something. And again, I think conditions are something you have to pay attention to. You can rear back and throw that heater when you're throwing against the wind. Be careful doing that when you're with the wind because that ball becomes almost you're trying to catch a BB in a hailstorm.
By the way, Steely said they got Cap's coconut Dr. Pepper, 0 sugar in the blue tent. It's the nectar of the god. Take that. I always wondered, Olin, Tommy, like I see these guys go in the blue tent, and I'm like, they're helping him in there. The next thing you know, yeah, I'm good. And he comes running out. I'm like,
My gosh, man.
What
That's
do they
it's
have?
just that they're laying on that ground now, but they're smarter now. I talk a lot to these young guys. Like, if you would have asked me what a SOAS was when I played, I thought it would be a dinosaur back in the, back when the dinosaurs lived. Now everyone knows what their SOAS is, and their multifidus. They know what everything. They know Liz Frank. I thought that was a singer. You know what I mean? Like, oh, and you
Right.
tore your Liz Frank. I was like, what the hell is that? What the hell is a Liz Frank? But these players are a lot smarter than we ever were. And like I said, that blue tent has superpowers I've never seen before,
I
man.
have
Can
not.
you imagine back in the day with the blue tent? I mean, even going back prior to Olin's days, go back. I mean,
Oh.
Jim McMahon would be in there with a scotch and a cigarette, and he'd come out. Like, how in the world did Jim, survive that hit and come out and he's puffing a cigarette and he's finishing a cold beer?
Did you ever see the picture of Len Dawson at the Super Bowl? He's sitting on the bench. He's got a Fresca. He's got a Fresca on the ground in a bottle, and he's got a cigarette in his hand. I'm like, what? He's smoking a cigarette on the sideline of the Super Bowl.
I was a rookie, and I was looking. I didn't realize we all had to find our own way to the stadium, Soldier Field, and so I found Big Cat. Big Cat was the only guy who was walking out. I said, "Do you mind if I ride with you?" He's Big Cat, right? Come on, big dog. And jumped in his car, and he started smoking Black and Mild all the way to the stadium. And I was thinking, hey, man, do we have a football game here? Man. Hey, and went out there and played one hell of a football game. Big Cat, man. You couldn't pull that guy out of a game. So times have changed.
Unbelievable. Hey, our vertical catch of the game, vertical in business since 1985. Tommy was on that 85 team. Chicago's chimney experts for chimney cleanings, masonry work, gas logs. They fixed my fireplace. They could fix yours too. Verticalchimney.com. It's the Nashon Wright interception in the end zone of J.J. McCarthy. It was a sick pick. And then he got on his knee and prayed looking up because his junior college coach, I believe it was John Beam, was killed last week, and he was super emotional then and again after the game. But that interception, that was a hell of a play, man. Your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, that guy, I mean, that's length. I think Nashon Wright's like 6'4" with a wingspan. That's just crazy. Just a great athletic play. I think Addison thought he was going to catch that ball. I think J.J. McCarthy thought he threw a good ball. That's you tip your cap to him. I mean, that's just an exceptional athletic play, and obviously it meant a lot to him because of what you mentioned, Cap. So I'm happy for him. He shows up. He plays hard. He has moments. He's up and down. He's not as consistent, probably. It's one of the reasons why he probably has struggled to find a home over the course of time. But he does make some spectacular plays. Remember, he's in the first game of the season against the Vikings. He took one to the house. So he's got a knack for making really, really big plays.
Like his arms had like extenders on him, right? Yeah. When he went up and made that play, it was a really good play. Looked like he was a little behind the receiver, and J.J. McCarthy threw it, and he went and made that play. And I don't know anything about Coach Bean, but he sounds like a great guy, man, and may he rest in peace. And obviously, Cap, when you have someone who's affected your life that much and probably thought about all his coaching and wanted to make a play for him, and in that moment he makes that play, what a good thing for him, and just a tough situation all around to go through. But when you talk about Byard's interception, also nice play, dropping off, reading the quarterback, picking the ball off. Al Harris, man, I mean, a name that's going to be a hot name, I would imagine, for defense corner, what he's done with this unit. So really just a secondary with all the injuries they've had. And I think they posted something where like the top three guys in the league are Bears, who are leading the NFL in interceptions, right? And just the way they're being coached and taught how to play that position, the level that they're playing at, to Tom's point. Right, man. I mean, sometimes you got beat for that touchdown to take the lead, right? I mean, Addison's open, right, for a big gain on the second play of the game, I think, for the Vikings. And obviously McCarthy misses him. But Wright really battling. Sometimes it's Wright and McLeod, and you don't even know who's out on the field for Chicago Bears sometimes. Just finding ways, like we're talking about, make plays, win the football game. There's another guy, right, with a critical interception there at the end of the half, making a play. Duvernay making a play. Just right now, the Chicago Bears, a really fun football team to watch. They almost can't miss TV. They're going to come up with some kind of play to make.
I really like watching Kevin Byard play too. That pick, as Olin mentioned, I don't know if JJ was impeded on making that throw, but he played it perfectly. He was feathering back, and he saw that JJ was not going to throw the ball on the flat, so he's going to try to hit that deep crosser, and he basically baited him into throwing it. And you could just tell that Kevin A is a veteran. He's a talented veteran. He spends a ton of time watching film. He knows the tendencies of these quarterbacks. And at the advanced age of 30-something, I think he's had as good a year as anybody on that defense.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's preview the Pittsburgh Steelers game. I want to get your guys' thoughts. It's our Illinois Tollway look ahead. And by the way, Bears fans, let's be real. Whether you're heading to Soldier Field, cruising down I-90, maybe going downstate to watch the Illini keep playing good football.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes sitting in line at the
21, the coaches, 21 in a playoff poll today.
That's it. That's where iPass comes in. With iPass, you save 50% on Illinois tollways. It works seamlessly on all Easy Pass roads across the country. Maybe you're headed out to watch your daughter play some volleyball, or Tommy's case, some soccer. So if you're a true Chicago fan who loves speed and efficiency, join the team that always wins. Sign up for iPass today. All right, let's talk about the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is not being ruled out for this game. He will not need surgery. Mike Tomlin said today it's a pain tolerance thing, and that will not be an issue for Aaron. We just have to see if we can brace it properly so he can take a snap and make the handoffs and the throws. So I'll start with you, Olin. Your thoughts on what the Steelers are going to present as a challenge?
I think with Watt and Herbig now also from St. Louis High School in Honolulu, Hawaii. Just a quick shout out to my alma mater. You guys saw Mariota
out there.
Tua Tagovailoa playing against each other the other day. There's some more St. Louis Crusaders out there, but Herbig, really good pass rusher. So is Watt, right? You want to keep them stopping the run. Obviously, the things the Chicago Bears have been doing, this Steelers defense not very good statistically. I think 32nd in the league is stopping the pass. So make them stop the run and then attack them with those concepts we're talking about from Ben Johnson, right? And then on defense, they do have bigger tight ends, right? And Darnell Washington, Jonnu Smith, and they're going to come after you, come downhill. They want to get their run game established. Aaron Rodgers, we'll see with DK Metcalf, that matchup. But just interesting, guys, as we go here, as you guys see, they have put Billings at he's the starting nose guard now, and they've moved Dexter out to 3 technique. I'm a little worried as we go on here and start to play these winning teams. A little worried about Austin Booker and Dominic Robinson there at the edge. I'd like to see them bump Javon Dexter out there sometimes against these tackles and these big tight ends and get him out there first and second down to stop the run. I just think eventually Austin Booker's side, and he's been playing good football. I was surprised how good he played against Darisaw for the Vikings, who's a really good tackle, $28.5 million a year good. But I just think eventually that could be one of their breaking points, Tom, that they're going to have to overcompensate for there, that leave guys like Wright one-on-one with DK Metcalf, or just the kind of weapons that the Steelers will bring to the game. So those are kind of the keys I'll be looking for this week.
Yeah, I still think Aaron Rodgers can play. I really do. He's 19 and 7 in terms of touchdown interception ratio. He's got a quarterback rating pushing 100, 65 completion percentage. He's not the player that won multiple MVPs years ago, but for whatever reason, he's got this extra gear internally when he plays the Bears. I know there's a lot of Bears fans that want to see him play so you can take him down the way that Corey
I'll take Mason Rudolph.
I'm with you. I would much rather face Mason Rudolph in this game than I would Aaron Rodgers, because personally, I think if you let Aaron Rodgers sit back there and throw the football, I think he can do some of the same stuff that Joe Flacco did to you in Cincinnati. So, give me the backup quarterback. I'd rather see that. I think if Warren's not able to go, I know he's got an ankle. He's a pretty good running back. I think that's a problem for them. Highsmith, I don't think is going to be available. Like they've dealt with some injuries as well. Yeah, I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers. I've got nightmares about that guy doing the discount double check on me. And
Me either.
And you know, albeit mostly in a Packers uniform, I don't want to see that in a Steelers uniform.
In terms of keys to victory, we'll get to that in one moment. I did want to ask you about your mindset at the Chevy drive of the game. 10 plays, 85 yards, 2:24 off the clock. Jordan Addison, a 15-yard TD catch from J.J. McCarthy. Chevy is the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Olin, did you believe the Chicago Bears were going to come back yet again for the fifth time down with less than 2 minutes to go? Or did you have trepidation as you watched the game at the 3-number network?
No, no. I actually text the guys before they scored that drive, and I said what they need to do is score so Caleb can be down 1 point, come back and win the game. Because if you only need a field goal, these Chicago Bears, that defense, you just thought they'd find a way. I didn't know it was going to be a kickoff return, and I won't say I was 100% sure, but I was pretty confident we could get down the field and at least get a shot at a field goal just because of the way the year's been going. Who the coach is on the sideline. I know he's ready for that moment. I know he's ready to go against Flores and his defense in that situation with his scheme. And I just think in those situations, Caleb right now is finding a way to make a play and get the ball to one of his playmakers.
I'm more confident, Cap, in Olin. I'm more confident in Olin in those situations than I am in the second quarter with 10 minutes to go. I just think, because of what I've seen, it doesn't mean he can't be more efficient in the middle of the game. But like you've seen that clutch gene, and he seems to be at home and most confident when he finds himself in those types of situations. So I never thought all was lost at all, no doubt.
And Cat, remember their best pass rusher was out. So that was another reason I was like, well, they don't have Bernard, right? And obviously our weakness on our offensive line is our left tackle. So that is like, we're going to see it coming up here, man, down this stretch. That is going to be a position to watch on passing situations there, because it hasn't been great. As great as he's been, as good as a run blocking addition he's been, pass blocking's been rough.
You're on mute, Cap. You've muted yourself.
I'll put that one on Guff.
Whoa. We do not point fingers on this show, sir.
There goes your Piccolo Award for the Cap Show.
That's it. 100%. Well, you are on your game tonight, man. Let me tell you. Tommy and I will make our predictions. Olin will give us his 2 keys. Tommy, go ahead.
I'm stuck on this 24-20 score. I like the Bears matchup in this game. I think the Steelers are banged up. I don't think any of these games are going to be, easy for the Bears. I think that their defensive deficiencies and their special teams issue and their issues, and I think the lack of consistency in recent weeks on offense make them, not a prohibitive favorite at times. But I like them at home to get the best of a Steelers team that, is probably going to be without a couple of their key guys. So I'll stick with the 24-20 score. I'll take the Bears to win this one as well.
I will take the Chicago Bears to win this game 27-20. I do think Caleb will play well. I don't think there's, major weather problems that are coming, but I do think the Bears will find a way to win the football game, get to 8-3, and then we'll see what happens after the holiday. Olin, your top 2 keys to a Bears victory.
As you guys know, usually I go with running the ball and I go with stopping the run, but I just want to see the Chicago Bears offense start to score points again, especially when they get in the red zone, start to score touchdowns. Ben Johnson talked a lot in the beginning of the year about expected points added from the pass game. He thinks that's a critical stat to winning, and it has proven to be true. And that takeaways are not as important as that, right? As expected points added through the passing game. So I just think the offense needs to find ways to put the ball in the end zone, Cap, and score more than 17 points through 4 quarters, right? And that's one thing I'm worried about when you guys talk about Aaron Rodgers and him finding a way to score points at Soldier Field and keeping it close. Remember, he also has that clutch gene that Caleb has, right? So I just think it's, again, a little worried right now, the offense, when they get in that red zone, finding ways to put the ball in the end zone. So for me, and then finding some kind of pass rush. I said on the pregame show on the 3-number network that I thought Grady would have a good game just because he's a turf guy, right? He's an indoor on turf kind of football player. And I thought that, maybe something Ryan Poles didn't consider when he signed him, that Soldier Field is a hard place to rush the passer for guys who are quick, who get up the field. I used to like when those guys came to Soldier Field to play us, kind of gave us an advantage, slowed them down a little bit. So I think that's one of the reasons for Grady Jarrett's struggles. And he didn't have that problem there in Minnesota, and he was at the feet of the quarterback. I think he had 5 pressures and led the team in pressures. But as far as that, just getting to Aaron Rodgers, right? Finding some kind of pass rush from our defensive line, I think is going to be important. Guys, also something to watch. Zach Frazier, the Steelers took him in the 2nd round out of West Virginia, the center for the Steelers. Him versus Billings. Bring your popcorn, butter them up, put salt on it, and watch that battle because they are going to war.
That's going to be a great one to watch on tape after the game and go, wow, look at that. Olin was right on the money on that one.
You mean
Guys,
the battle?
The battle's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Those are 2 strong guys. How much does Billings weigh right now, man? He is a monster in the middle.
He's weighing more with every week that goes by.
Yes, he is.
By the way, our guy, Nicholas Moriano, who I think does an awesome job. Olin's one of his biggest fans. Bears are 12-1 versus the Steelers at Soldier Field. How about that, Sam?
Yep. How about that, man?
There you go. Hey, join us live at Hooters. December 9 is our next remote. We'll be in Aurora at Hooters on Fox Valley Center Drive. Guys.
Only take Alex in public. Right? You only take Alex. You got to go in public. You only take Alex. Unbelievable, man.
You are more than welcome in Aurora.
Can't take me anywhere, I guess. That's what they say.
Wow. This guy, man, brought his A game today. So did Tommy. All right, you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Let's find a way to get to 8-3. For Olin,
man.
For Tommy, Cap, for our recap crew. Take that.
Our family had been talking about redoing the kitchen for a long time. Studio 41 had all the pieces I wanted.
With Studio 41, we found their prices competitive. They helped us stay on a budget.
They spent a lot of time with me in the studio, and I got to touch and feel things.
Our big fear was if you go online, who's standing behind the product? Studio 41 had the best selection, and they took her ideas and brought it to life.
It was everything I dreamed it could be.
Visit studio41.com to find a showroom near you.
Okay, we're just here for dishwashers.
Just a dishwasher.
At Vertical Chimney Care, our goal is to keep you warm and safe. Since 1985, we've been doing just that, providing our Chicagoland neighbors value, reliability, and peace of mind. From chimney cleanings and flue liners to fireplace rebuilds and restorations, chimney technicians and expert masons deliver top quality inspections, maintenance, and repairs using the latest fire safety technology with quality you can trust. At Vertical, we aim to treat every home like it's our own home. Vertical, trusted by homeowners, built on care.
Studio 41 Football Recap Live is brought to you by Studio 41 Home Design Showroom. 13 locations, studio41.com. Vertical, in business since 1985. Chicago's chimney experts for chimney cleanings, masonry work, gas logs. Verticalchimney.com. Your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers, the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears. Hooters. At Hooters, originality isn't just one thing, it's everything. World famous wings and more, served up by the iconic Hooters girl. Hooters, always original. Dr. Pepper, an American original just like our Chicago Bears. Grab an ice cold, refreshing Dr. Pepper today at a McDonald's near you. Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics Illinois, so I did. Learn more at SOILL.org. Apt. For the best appliances for football season, shop at Apt. Pleasing people since 1936. Find them at apt.com. Four Seasons, heating, plumbing, air conditioning, and electric. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons. The Illinois Tollway. If you're a true Chicago fan who loves speed and efficiency, join the team that always wins. Sign up for iPass today. Driving to the Bears game? Get a 50% discount on your tolls with iPass.